Oh yeah, guys. Some old school rock and roll right here. Need some heavy drums right here. Some Metallica. Well, hey everybody, welcome back to Amped Up. I'm Cliff Schecter. That is David Schecter sitting next to me. I'll make a point that I used to make all the time. I think it's more important to make today. That Amped Up is coming to you from the Queen City, the Radio City, Cincinnati, which is in the state of Ohio, where there are Buckeyes. You might
Ohio. Did I do that right? No,
I believe that's right, David. David, upset a couple of our few people threatened to unsubscribe because David wrote what.
Hey, it's hate week. It is hate week. And anybody who understands the rivalry understands that this is the week that people in Michigan say horrible things about people in Ohio, and people in Ohio say terrible things about people in Michigan. And that's just how it is. And we can all take it.
I live here. I live here. So we see it all the time. I'm used to it. But you know what? Like, I don't understand. Come on. Like, the people who are like, I'm going to unsubscribe. I'm like, guys, I live in Ohio. Like, I'm going to make fun of David. I'm a Yankees fan, as many people know, being from New York City. We have these guys called the Boston Red Sox, and of course they suck, and we have to make fun of them all the time.
And by the way, did I mention, Cliff, that it's been more than 2,000 days since Ohio State last beat Michigan in college football?
You're just going to keep going, aren't you?
Hey, we have some news. We have some really good news. Putting aside the regular news, Cliff, Blue Amp is now fueled and powered by something really special, and I'm excited about this for reasons that'll become obvious.
Yes, I think those reasons will become obvious. Guys, we are fueled by, we're just going to come straight out. We have an ad today. We're doing a live read, but this is a cool one because actually this is a product that if you want to continue to look as sexy as David Schecter in your 50s, you need to use. And luckily, it's a product that I do use already. So I'm your ad right here. It's called Particle. And for you guys out there, if you want to smooth the lines into your eyes, if you want to get rid of those crow's feet, make those crow's feet go back to the farm where they belong. You want to make your skin softer, which we're guys, we're out there. We don't pay attention. We don't put on stuff a lot of the time to protect ourselves because we're stupid. And no, in all seriousness, Particle helps you soften your skin and makes your eyes look better, even if you don't do it.
Can I add something to this, Cliff? Because normally in the world of television, there's two different ways that you can get rid of the bags under your eyes. The first that you could do is you can have like these lights, right, that I have here that like blast and fill in the shadows under your eyes, and that's that sort of sometimes works in TV and these sort of setups.
Right, but you don't want to walk around with them.
Right. Or you can just do it sort of the more natural way and have something like Particle, which actually does take out the bags and the crows. So that way you're not relying on your artificial light as much. So it's a wonderful product. And I'm glad that they are part of Blue Amp.
No, I mean, and actually, the fantastic thing is, as I said, and we have our own Lawrence Winterman who's been using it for a number of years too. So when they came to us like, would you like to do an ad for us? I'm like, I'm the ad.
Send us some stuff.
I use it can we get some stuff? Look, it's a face cream. I could read you some of the ingredients. You'll have never heard of them like me, but what you'll know is it's seriously made for men's faces. Our faces are a little more rugged. So for our dudes out there watching, for guys out there who are fans, it's perfect for you.
Or for your family and friends who are looking for gifts for that guy in your life. And this is we're now in the holiday season, right? So, my mom is buying up all these Blue Amp t-shirts. Well, other people can also you can buy t-shirts, but you can also maybe buy up some of the Particle stuff and give it that as a gift. And you're helping Blue Amp.
Yep. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about it is that, and beautiful is the right word. It will make you more beautiful by having somebody, if you buy your brother or boyfriend or husband or son or any number of men in your life, they'll look better, which I think will make you happy. But also, when it comes to us, this product fights fascism. I mean, this is seriously, this fuels us. These kinds of things, these ads keep us going. If we keep going, We keep defending democracy. We keep fighting fascism. So please, like, look into it. It's a terrific product. I know. Again, I've used it for years, so I know it works. And it's also something where you will help us continue to do what we're doing right now. So how can you lose, especially in the holiday season? So get it. Here's the best part: Black Friday deal. I'm going to read you the code that I have to look here for. Blue 30. It is Blue 30. And it sounds like a football play like Michigan would do, but it is not. And that will get you 30% off at checkout. So already you're looking at getting 30% off just for being supporters of ours and helping us. So check it out. Get yourself some Particle right now before the deal goes away. And let's bring Nick Perro in here. He can tell us, if he needs anything to smoothen his skin or not, or he may just be naturally that way.
And what an interesting news week.
I do actually think this is really cool because I get crow's feet and bags under my eyes all the time. I mean, busy as shit all the time. So we're tired. We're moving. I think somebody needs to give some of that to Wajahat Ali. He needs some under his eyes. That man works his ass off.
He is a hard
yeah.
So
But
Nick,
yeah,
you are a superstar on Substack. You're a veteran. You've got a fascinating take on politics and veterans issues and men's issues. And Cliff and I have been big fans of yours for a while. So welcome to Blue Amp. Good to have you on.
Thank you. It's really nice to be here with you guys. And I'm so glad to be able to talk to you both. It's been fun to become a Substack superstar. Like that was not my career path 6 months ago.
Well, so I don't think any of us kind of had that planned out like circa 2024 even. So, here we are.
Oh, yeah. You were the first veteran that we've had on since this whole story erupted of the Secretary of Defense, Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, saying that they're going to investigate Senator Mark Kelly and the other Democrats because those Democrats last week put out a video reminding members of the military that you've taken an oath to the Constitution and you can turn down an order that is illegal. And the White House, in the midst of all this, said, oh, no, they're saying that they should defy lawful orders. And no, the video is very clear. You should defy unlawful orders. But what do you make of all of this? Not only the Democrats' effort, but also the Republican Trump White House response?
Yeah, so I think it's important also to note that this is a citizen-led effort to push back in response. So the Mark Kelly stuff really pisses me off because I took an oath to the Constitution too. I enlisted in the Army. I'm an Army veteran. I was in the intel field, and my constitutional oath said that I must serve and defend and protect the Constitution.
So it didn't say Donald Trump in there. It
didn't say Trump, king, tyrant.
Tyrannical, piss cotton candy haired,
Yeah, and I'll plug something that just happened too. Is I was asked alongside Melissa Corrigan, Frederick Pogue, plenty of other veterans like Chris Goldsmith, Ken Harbaugh, Bobby Jones. We all took part in a video to support the Save America movement.
I was gonna say I saw it, and you were excellent. All of you guys.
Thank you.
Bobby's been on the show. Fred's been on the show. I'm trying to think of the other folks. Melissa works with us now, and
Melissa and I work closely together all the time. I'm so glad you guys picked Melissa up and that she works with you. She's so freaking amazing.
She makes the argument by being her.
One of the best people alive.
Yeah. So, but I was gonna say, I saw all of you guys in this ad. How did it come together? It's fantastic. I've seen it out there.
We've been building connections for the past couple months and getting to know other veterans out there. One of the big things I focus on through both of my platforms, through Sick of This Shit Publications and Banner and Backbone, which Lawrence Winterman is a co-founder with me at. And so come join us there at Banner and Backbone too. We love the support, and it's all focused on civics and re-engagement. But during that time, one of the big things I wanted to do was a thing called Vet Talks. And I wanted to purposely meet other veterans who are out there so that I know who to talk to. So I went out and I met Fred Wellman because I've been following him for over a year on Midas Touch. And I was like, I'm just going to reach out to him and ask if he wants to come on for an interview.
Hopefully our next congressman.
I hope so too. I totally advocate for Fred. Go to wellmanformissouri.com and support him. Go support his campaign. I love Fred. I've had him on twice. Then I got to meet Chris Goldsmith. I got to meet Tim Fullerton at the Find Out podcast. I know he's not a veteran, but great person to meet. I've met Bobby Jones. I've had Bobby Jones on twice. Melissa Corrigan, others in our veteran
It's really weird
community.
because you haven't said one person yet that we haven't had on the show.
I know
all the same people. It seemed. I mean, I've known Tim Fullerton. We both met. Well, we were. I was doing digital PR and he was a digital strategist for Everytown for gun safety. So we're going back to like a decade and a half ago. And then he worked for the Obama administration in digital. I think he ran digital for the Interior Department. So, and the Find Out podcast. I mean, Chris Goldsmith. He's been on the show here. That dude's a badass, scared of nothing.
Love those guys.
Yeah, so you're doing great work with great people, obviously, and well, you're a great person, so that fits.
And so it came together all after all this communication and all this networking and community building that we've been doing, trying to purposely introduce ourselves. Like nobody knew who I am or who I was 6 months ago. I wrote a couple articles on Substack about Stephen Miller because he's a nasty piece of shit human being.
In his defense, he does sleep upside down.
Well, I have decided he has micro ego syndrome, and that he is the brainworm that grew out of RFK's head and is just basically like a walking human penis. And so, I mean,
the profile fits if you look at him. So
yeah, yeah. And so like, I've taken this approach where everybody else gets to be unapologetically like shitty. And so after meeting all these people, I realized we get to be unapologetically not shitty. And some of that means men need to take accountability, but without backing down. And so I took part in that video because I was like, well, I've been out here, I've been putting my voice out, and it would be a shame not to take the opportunity to increase that visibility so more people in my community can have a voice. Because I speak for folks with chronic illnesses. And I speak for other veterans, and I speak for people in my community who don't have a voice, and I'm proud and glad to be able to do that. And that's where I come from now.
And some Republicans in Congress have suggested, and I think they do so without, or perhaps by deliberately lying about the original Mark Kelly Slotkin video, et cetera, et cetera. But their argument is, well, we get into sort of dangerous ground when elected members of Congress are suggesting to the military you should, think twice about an order. And there's some, I guess, there's some veterans who sort of resonate to that, and maybe they haven't seen the ad either. But the other thing that's sort of mind-boggling about this is, correct me if I'm wrong, even if you were to defy, as a member of the military, a lawful order, let's just suppose that's the charge would be insubordination. It wouldn't be.
It's not. You're not
correct. Right? Correct. Yeah, you're allowed to disobey orders in the military. You'll get punished for it. If they are lawful orders. If they're found to be lawful orders, you'll get punished for it. The assumption is they're lawful, typically, is what it is. It's presumption of lawful. And then that being said, you have the choice. It's mission command. So the best thing about the U.S. military in general is we do this thing called mission command. We've done it since World War II. It's where each soldier, if sailor or service member gets to say no, and has the ability to take over the mission and command it because they all know it. It's why we're so hard to beat in major wars. But it also means that the guy who's flying the helicopter for, say, the president, if he gets an illegal order to steal the president or steal the vice president and bring them to a secure location after, say, the January 6th riots, and possibly hang them or do whatever they were going to do to Mike Pence, at the time, that service member has the right to say no, and that's
you're supposed to. You're supposed to.
You're supposed to.
I mean, so look at this so everybody can understand it. When Colonel Nathan Jessup ordered the code red, privates Dawson and Downey should have said no and not engaged in it. Is that correct? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? I'm sorry. I go to a few.
I don't know code red.
I go to a few good men joke and I lose.
Okay.
But if Jack Nicholson asks you to do anything, you would do it because he's cool. So, all right, that one flopped. So you guys go. You continue from there.
And there's my understanding is also that in every part of the service there are judge advocate generals, JAGs, whose job is to advise military commanders on what's legal and what's not legal, so that somebody who's got an operation is thinking, okay, I'm not really sure about this, when they have a JAG that they can go to get legal advice. Part of what the Trump administration has done, and Pete Hegseth at the Department of War, Department of Pentagon, whatever you want to say, Defense, they've gotten rid of all these JAGs, right? I mean, so there's nobody to go to.
Yeah. So one of the first things they did was they purged the Judge Advocate General's branch, basically, of all competent and meaningful legal counsel. That said, there are organizations now that are out there that are doing the work. There's a group that, I had it up. I'll pull it up while I'm talking, that Glenn Kirshner has spoken about. And it's hold on. We were talking about it the other day, but it's a program that or an online site that allows service members to get outside information. And they are like, I advocate for every service member to find, if specifically officers, and this is where I want to make sure, like, I was enlisted. And so my oath of enlistment was different than the oath of commission, both of which do not say you obey orders of all orders of a president. You only obey lawful orders. And in fact, it is your second part of your oath in the final statement, at least on the enlisted side, is if you do obey illegal orders, you will be punished under the Uniform Code of Military Justice, which means I was just following orders is not a defense, because you will get punished under the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
Yeah, we heard that one somewhere else before, and it didn't work there either. It doesn't. Yeah, I'm referring to Nuremberg, of course, the trials. Like that's.
Yep.
We
need our own.
Yeah.
We need a new Nuremberg. We need whatever we're going to call it, be it the Epstein trials, be it the pedo trials, like whatever we want to call it. We just need to get ahead of everything that's going on, because at this point, I'm going in for the rest of the 12 months that we have left until the next election. This morning we were talking about it, and I've been talking about it with Zev Shalev a little bit, is 2026 is a presidential election, whether we like it or not. It is a presidential election because we should be talking about accountability, affordability, and accountability means impeaching the entire regime that has been treasonous and has been traitorous to our country and is actively destroying.
And I would say holding them legally accountable. I think you're saying that, but again,
but those are high constitutional accountabilities, not just legal, but we need to hold them to the constitutional accountability of treason, which is a congressional accountability. So we need supermajorities.
Right. I mean,
so we have 12 months to get a supermajority.
I just don't like, who am I to criticize Lincoln, who did an amazing job, obviously, and wanted to bring the country back together. But there are a couple of Confederate generals who had it coming, let's say. I mean, to me, if we want to get through this, we need a Truth and Reconciliation Committee or something of that sort. We need to figure out exactly what, and you're going to have to give deals to certain people to talk, because that's the way this always works. But the vast majority of these people must be held accountable fully for what they do, or the precedent we set will take down democracy anyhow.
And that includes members of the Supreme Court. Like, I put it out there this morning. Like, we need to start putting into the zeitgeist also is that states attorney generals need to be actively attempting to prosecute constitutional violations and state level violations. And if, say, a Supreme Court justice is known to have taken a bribe to get a traveling RV bus and their parents' house purchased and basically owned themselves, I think a state AG could easily pick up bribery charges. And in the state that it happened in. And I don't understand why we're not doing things like that.
Can I throw something else into that mix? Yeah. Corporations have to be chartered in states. And so, I mean, so when Tim Cook, Apple, whatever his name is, to Donald Trump, goes and gives a 24-karat gold present and violates the Emoluments Act and commits bribery, guess what? Apple is incorporated in a state. And that state, I don't know if it's Washington State. I don't know. I think
it's California.
I was to say, or it could be California. I get mixed up between the ones in Seattle and Silicon Valley. It doesn't really matter. The point is that wherever it is, that state's attorney general could hold him responsible. And we don't have these Democrats doing that And again, I feel like Democrats are getting bolder and bolder, but these are steps that must be taken to show how corrupt these people are.
And the issue of responsibility that you mentioned, Cliff, and I'm so glad that, Nick, you talked about high crimes and misdemeanors, because if you just look at some of the latest news involving the Trump administration, Kristi Noem, the head of the Department of Homeland Security, according to the Department of Justice in a filing that they made to the court late Tuesday, she was the one who made the decision to violate Judge Boasberg's order earlier this year when Judge Boasberg said, no, you cannot, you must have that flight of deportees turn around. They cannot go to El Salvador. She went ahead and decided, nope, they're going anyway. And the Department of Justice just admitted in a filing last night that it was her call, that they gave her advice, that she got advice from her legal advisors at DHS, but that Kristi Noem is responsible for defying the judge's order. And the judge already has probable cause for criminal contempt. So if, in fact, he finds criminal contempt against Kristi Noem and others, no matter what sort of punishment the judge puts in, even if the judge says, okay, I'm not going to actually sentence her to jail, but once you have that criminal contempt finding, that is a high crime and misdemeanor. And to me, Cliff, it makes sense that just politically, Democrats should introduce articles of impeachment, because then you put Republicans on the record in an election year saying, okay, defying a judge's order is okie dokie. Or you've got Republicans who look at the polls which show such public disgust with the Trump administration, and they see, okay, I don't want to be on the side of Kristi Noem, so maybe I join the Democrats in this. So to me, it makes sense for Democrats
leads to some discovery, leads to some, because also, look, as you've written, David, in your most recent, not your most recent piece, you didn't write about it for the Wolverines, but you did write about it in one of your most recent pieces, which is that impeachment needs to happen. Nick has said that. I will say that too. But I will say it shouldn't just stop there. We may remember that, and I've said this often, is we need to look at what Republicans do strategically and tactically, and they do it for bullshit reasons, but we need to do the same things for the right reasons. You may remember they tried to, they may have even voted in the House to impeach and not convict, the head of DHS under Joe Biden, whose name I can't recall right now, and one or two other figures. There's simply no reason, with what we know at this point about Kristi Noem, with what we know at this point about Pete Hegseth, with what we know at this point about Tom Homan, with what we know about at least one or two other figures, and it's really 15 others, but I want to keep it to some of the bigger name ones. So it's a messaging thing too. They should be impeached, right? The impeachable offenses are right there, and there's numerous ones. Chris Murphy went on a rant at one point. It's probably one of the best rants I've ever seen, to Kristi Noem's face. We kept pointing out all the illegal things that she was doing, or the things, he said it in a way where, well, this doesn't appear to follow the law, that doesn't. And of course, none of them did. And this was like months ago. I'm sure she's broken many more constitutional rules and laws since then. So, yeah, we should start right now and be impeaching members of this administration. Obviously, Pam Bondi, I didn't say before, goes without saying, and Kash Patel, and so that's my feeling anyhow.
Nick, I assume you agree. I mean, even as the Democrats are in the minority in the House, okay, but you can still formally have a news conference and say, here are my articles of impeachment, and I'm demanding the House Speaker and allow me to bring it to the floor, and at least make it an issue, right?
Yes, I think it's highly important that we do these things. You use the tools to their most advantage, and it's okay if Donald Trump has 300 articles of impeachment stripped onto him, and J.D. Vance do, and Kristi Noem, and as you said, all of them. Pete Hegseth specifically needs to have articles of impeachment, and he needs to go in front of a military tribunal in court to explain his war crimes. And the things that he's been doing outside Venezuela and the attacks that they're fomenting there. I think this needs to be like the most commonly talked about things. Like, Donald Trump is in the Epstein files very, 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 very clearly, oftenly, and succinctly. He did it. We cannot at this point say Donald Trump was not actively part of the Epstein plot or money laundering scheme. There's a misdemeanor just right there. If that's not a misdemeanor at minimum to a high crime to traffic children
Well,
and
even if he
commit
just
sex
knew what
crimes,
Epstein was doing and
that's
didn't
a
do
misdemeanor.
anything.
Hiding a crime,
Yeah.
like hiding that level of a crime, Michael Wolff, and trying to hawk it for a book is a misdemeanor. And we should be holding our politicians to the minimum standards that we hold everybody else to. Like, that's my problem, is we hold politicians to such a low standard in this country. They get away with everything when they should have such high standards for their behavior and action. But also looping back to the original Mark Kelly statement and like on the fake treason talk and seditious treason, the reason I'm using these words so like correctly rather than what Donald Trump is doing is because he co-opts everything. He has co-opted impeachment, so it didn't mean anything. He co-opted stolen elections so that Democrats were afraid to even ask for recounts in 2026 or 2024. Like, nobody asked for a recount.
That's why they do it, right? So when they push that kind of crap, it puts you in a corner where if you try to say the same thing,
You sound like a
it makes it look
conspiracy
like you're just
theorist.
copying them, and you're just right. Like they do the real stuff, and then yeah.
So we need to put it out there, and we need to do it correctly, and we need to use the words and like talk about they're treasonous because they've done this. Like Donald Trump has had treasonous actions, in my opinion, because he is actively aiding and giving comfort to enemies of our country and our allies. He is actively comforting Mohammed bin Salman. He brushed off Jamal Khashoggi's murder and dismemberment and death in the White House. He rolled out the red carpet for Putin on US soil and then got in the beast for 10 minutes and had a conversation where there was no recording of what happened.
And let's never forget January 6th, obviously, which Jack Smith has now leaked, or he hasn't leaked it, but somebody has, and enough has gotten out there that it's quite clear that he had a case that Trump not only, at least from everything that I've read on this, that not only did Trump know about it, but they helped finance these people coming to DC. That's the definition of treason and engaging in arms against your own country. So I don't know how you don't.
How is shutting down the government for the longest period and actively destroying social services and civil services not an attack on the American people? How is that not engaging in warfare on the American people?
I'd say trying to starve people too on purpose.
Starving people.
When the law is you have to feed them, and you go to court and keep arguing and losing so that you can starve people. Maybe that's not impeachable, but it should be.
Putting out a meme that says Apocalypse Chicago or whatever that bullshit was, where they declared war on Chicago.
Right.
I'm pretty sure when you say you're declaring war as the president, your words have a lot of fucking meaning, and we should hold them accountable for them. Like, we don't hold people accountable for their words. We wait till they do actions because we think free speech is so absolute in this country that it embodies all speech. Hate speech and incitement of violence are crimes. Like, we restrict free speech. We should restrict theirs. And the president isn't covered, unless I'm mistaken, under the speech and debate clause. Congress is, which covers Mark Kelly when he says service members should absolutely disobey illegal orders and say
Trump may be covered under the Supreme Court's bullshit immunity ruling.
Well, but that can be overturned too.
Inaccurate. Obviously, it's a ridiculous. It's such a ridiculous, purposeful, just bastardization of the Constitution. It's ludicrous. But it doesn't. It still doesn't go for you. I just want to say you brought up a valuable point there. Was the problem some of us had with Merrick Garland is Kash Patel, who was meeting with him, was never covered under either so-called immunity or debate. The debate clause.
None of the
no
people
reason why
Trump.
he couldn't have been charged with treason, with insurrection, and for some reason, I don't know.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, guess what, ma'am? When you retire from Congress, you're also no longer covered under the speech and debate clause. So keep coming at us with Jewish space lasers and your anti-Semitic bullshit around that, and we might just start suing your asses.
Actually, that part's true. I own those, and I actually set them every night. So
okay. I forgot. I didn't get the invite to that one.
From wildfires in California, so they were going to make a lot of money by destroying the property out there. So they had those space lasers in Cliff's name.
They did. Look, I want to show you everybody here. Definitely a real person and not a bot, and fun. Cliff as dumb as Crockett.
Oh, that's fun. Actually, so I
as
talked about
dumb
Jasmine.
or me as dumb as Crockett? Ugh.
Cliff as dumb as there's
Are you a
supposed to
bot
be
or are
like
you Russian? Hello there, comrade. Would you like to
uh,
speak with us after the show?
in Soviet America, Crockett crump you. And so what we need what so here's I want to get both your opinions on this because I talked about this morning a little bit on one of my shows was Jasmine Crockett. She's possibly running for Senate in Texas. And with
Right
2020
now? Like this 2026?
Yeah.
I was unaware of that. I mean,
Yeah.
my worry is just, we've already got Tallarico in there who's doing a terrific job. Colin Allred. Like I don't want them to all go so nuts that they tear each other apart.
Yeah. And so I want to advocate that Representative Crockett stays in the House of Representatives because she's one of like 3 individuals who should be Speaker of the House. Because
I would agree with that.
Speaker of the House has a very high probability of becoming the interim president of the United States until a new one can be agreed upon by Congress. And that's going to take frickin' forever. And the one who should be in charge of it is Jasmine frickin' Crockett, because as somebody said today in our chat on my morning show was on the window of discussion that I do with Senator America, you guys should definitely meet Gavin and Sherrod at Senator America. They're 501c4 that does grassroots pro-democracy, moderate progressive policies that everybody wants.
It's awesome.
Messaging around that. Is someone said Jasmine Crockett is Michelle Obama without a filter. And I think that's a great comparison.
She doesn't go low.
Two incredibly powerful women.
She doesn't go high. She goes low. Yeah.
Yeah, she goes low, but she makes really compelling and easy to understand points. Yep. She talks to the people. She would be a fantastic Speaker of the House / interim to full-time president. Like, that's what we should be putting out there is please stay in Congress, in the House of Reps, Jasmine Crockett, win that seat, become Speaker of the House and president. That's what I want.
Even if the Democratic caucus has decided that Hakeem Jeffries is the next speaker, if Democrats take control, and whether we like that or not, but just by the Democrats taking control of the House, there may be committee chairmanships for Jasmine Crockett. I mean, her voice gets elevated in all kinds of ways. It's not just her voice that gets elevated, but her concerns and her issues then can become the priority for what the Congress focuses on for the next 2 years leading up to 2028. So just with the prospects, and I think they're 98% that Democrats take back control of the House, I would think if I were a member of Congress, I would say, okay, I'm going to stick around because it's really going to get fun a year from now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also want coalition building where we can win the Senate to a supermajority where an impeachment could actually be a conviction and removal. Because
I would say this.
I
can be wrong about this, but I've been doing this stuff, reading this stuff for years, and I've always been a pessimist, due to how all this stuff works, that we respect a filibuster that exists nowhere in the Constitution and should not be there. And
get rid of it.
And you need the 2/3 majority, as you're talking about, to convict. So but I would tell you at this point, people I talk to in Washington, other things. First of all, we just need to win a supermajority because we need to win a supermajority because we should have an FDR-like election and wipe them out.
Yes.
But if we don't, I would say that I think the group of senators that John Thune has inherited his corporate control over from McConnell, I think he would bring them along to convict at this point. I think they've all had enough of Trump and realized the damage he is doing to them and that they made a bad long-term bet. And
I wish they'd just come out and say it then.
Well, so do I. They're too wimpy to do that. It would have to be at that moment, at the last moment when it's happening, and then they'd be like, okay. I mean, there've been a few that Massey and others and who've had the courage to say it. And again, I'm not saying I love everything about these individuals. I'm just giving them credit on this. They've had the courage to stand up to Trump, but I don't expect those senators to. But I do expect if potentially if they're in a position where they could be the deciding votes, I think they might just decide at this point that they need him gone.
Well, and one of the things we can do to help sway that, and this is from a discussion I heard with Stephanie Wilson and Christopher Armitage, I think,
Mhm.
yesterday, was contact their donors. It's donors are public record for elected officials.
Mhm.
Contact their donors and ask them, how do you or your employees feel about this, and this policy that your person voted for you? Do you really want your name attached to this type of messaging? Do you want to be known as a white supremacist organization? You can't tell them to switch their vote to somebody else, but you can sure as hell pressure them, and then you can financially pressure them. Like,
Well, I was gonna say, you
do
also can you easily can put up billboards or have
Mhm.
planes fly around with signs or do ads or plenty
Yeah,
of things to make people know that this CEO of this corporation or whoever it is giving money to people, like the way that we never pushed it enough, but that the head of the owner of Publix, which is big in Florida, and I'm sure other places, that's the only place I've been to that I know it's in, was helped fund the January 6thers. I mean,
yeah.
at that moment, everybody on our side should have been like, we are never shopping at that place again. But that didn't happen. Like, we need to make things like that happen.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's like the Blue Friday that you guys started last week with Lawrence Winterman.
yes.
The getting the Blue Friday sales and the Blue Friday contributions to support and contribute to good causes and causes that you care about. Just like Timothy Snyder said in On Tyranny, is contribute to causes you care about. That also means withhold funds from causes you don't care about and be very deliberate. So
Yeah. I mean,
we can
honestly,
do
right down.
credible things on like Black Friday. Is fill up your shopping cart on Amazon. Don't do anything with it. Just fill it up, leave it there, because then they'll waste a lot of money on advertisements targeting towards you and you don't buy anything. And then
I
instead,
like
because
that.
it's
I
on Black
hadn't thought about
Friday,
that. I
is
hadn't thought
go to
about it.
Blue Friday and support Blue Ant Media and Banner and Backbone and Sick of This Shit publications that participate in a Blue Friday
Trust me, we need
event.
the money more than Walmart does,
Yeah.
and
Oh my
Amazon.
God.
And instead of aiding and abetting the destruction of like the destruction literally of our economic system, as Walmart has really done across our country, like
Mhm.
locusts moving into one town after another,
Oh, I
destroying small
live.
businesses, treating workers horribly, ruining the environment, everything else. You can support us, and like we do things like support the Sound Check Fund, where we give checks out to smaller creators so they can get microphones and lights and things. And we do things like have folks like you on here so people can hear your voice more. And I'd make an argument that all of us here are maybe doing a little more positive than Meta is, let's say.
Oh yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
I want to pick up on your point that you just made a minute ago about Senator Thune and some of these corporate Republicans you think that are willing to throw Trump overboard if given the right set of circumstances. I wonder, and I keep sensing this in the House as well, that it wasn't enough for members of the House to vote against Trump on the Epstein files. That they're looking up at the same polls we are, 14-point difference between Democratic generic ballot, Republican generic ballot. They see a wipeout coming. And so they're trying to think, oh my God, what can we possibly do to get away from Donald Trump? How can we get away from him and create some political distance? And I wonder if there's another shoe to drop. And Nick, you mentioned the Epstein files. They're
Yes.
supposed to be turned over in the next 30 days. I think you're absolutely right that Donald Trump is all over these things, photographs, videos. If it comes out, if there's clear evidence, or if the public is led to believe that Donald Trump was involved in statutory rape, he was having sex with underage girls who were under pressure from Jeffrey Epstein, does that become enough in your estimation to convince Republicans before the midterms to go for a Donald Trump impeachment simply because they want to be on the record as well as saying we are not going to accept this stuff?
I hope so. I mean, I wouldn't want to tie my name to being pro pedophilia in any fucking way. Like, what? Who in their right mind would ever want to say, "Yeah, I support a pedophile"? Like, if and that's as simple as it should be to convince the Republicans. Is I think we can make it so that when these files come out, is if everybody over the next week or two just contacts their representatives and senators, especially Democratic folks, please do this. Like, make your folks stand up for this first. But also, those of us who live in red areas, like I live in Arkansas, I live in the home of Walmart. I am in that corruption, in that corporate town. Like, I know what it looks like.
Can I tell you this, Nick,
Yeah.
quickly? We had Hallie Schaffner on here, who's
Oh,
running against
I
Tim
want to meet
Carden.
her.
Well, happy to do that. She is amazing. And if she were running even in like a lean 10 point, like in Ohio, I would guarantee you she would win right now.
Yeah.
But if I'm saying is if we have the kind of election that we should have, I mean, 6th-generation farmer lost her farm because of their stupid tariffs. She's just completely for real, an actual real person. I still think, again, if it's big enough and we don't have these wimpy messengers running things on our side and have people more of the Jasmine Crockett's, more of the Chris Murphys who lead the way. I honestly think that someone like Hallie Schaffner against a Tom Cotton who doesn't know how to smile and voted against the Farm Bill twice, I think she has a chance. I
He's a real
do.
creep,
And I wouldn't say that almost ever because Arkansas, I mean, it is what it is. The numbers are what they are. But I think the partisan numbers are going to be shook up and changed because for you older folks out there, this joke may not work for anybody else, but David talked about shoes ready to drop. Like, I think there's more shoes that will still drop on Donald Trump than Imelda Marcos had. Okay. I think honestly, the Epstein files have a bunch more things in them. I think there's numerous other things out there and corrupt activities he's taken part in, from his deal with MBS of Saudi Arabia, with what are they doing investing in his crypto business? I mean, there's just a ton of it. And I think a lot of it, I think a lot more is set to come out. So
yeah, and my focus in all of this is making sure that when the Epstein files come out, like I work with Ellie Leonard a lot. And Zev Shalev, who do a lot of investigative work.
Ellie Leonard is our channel hero.
Oh, she's fantastic. One of the best people. Whoever is listening, go follow Ellie Leonard. Like, seriously, you will not be disappointed in any way.
She does stuff. Well, a lot of people talk about stuff. She does it.
She does a lot. She's right now chronicalizing and retranscribing all of the Bannon Epstein emails. Like, this is where Democrats and pro-constitutionalists and pro-democracy coalition members, because you can be a prior Republican, say if the libertarian wing wants to be taken over by Adam Kinzinger or anyone like that who has a lot of money, who can take over that apparatus and break it off the Republican Party, because it's a full third party that's nationally recognized and can get on ballots everywhere in this country. You can take over the Republican Party and break it. And we need to get creative in how we win and how we act on things. And one of those
creative
is
and aggressive
files. And yes, and we have to be aggressive. We have to be on offense all the time. I don't defend anything. I defend my arguments, but I'm on offense for them because I don't frame them in right-wing mentality. I don't buy the bullshit. I don't buy the lies. Like, I believe people are people. People deserve rights. People deserve value. People are inherently deserving of value. And shouldn't be marginalized.
So you don't think billionaires should just get all of our money and all of our rights? Is that what you're saying?
As I've heard before, and I absolutely agree with, eat the rich, because they are corrupt as shit. The robber barons are back, and this time they're not doing good things. Unlike Andrew Carnegie or Andrew Mellon, who actually built stuff in Pittsburgh and built like things that were meaningful and lasting for the country. Their heirs suck. Timothy Mellon. That's something I'd love to have an investigation.
He's a right-wing crank. Yeah, he's nuts.
And he paid service members, which is against the law, which is very against the law for a reason, so that our military does not become a mercenary force. We need to start talking about not just Donald Trump and his role in the Epstein files, but the entire administration's role together in the cover-up of the Epstein files, because it's not good enough to just remove Trump. It has to be all of it.
Oh my God. Yeah. You just remove Trump. I mean, again, somebody else just replaces it. It's like, fit somebody else in the slot and replace it with all the same. They may not have his ability, I always will just put it this way, right-wing charisma, because I don't understand the charisma. I don't understand, but I do clearly see that he has that on the right.
But it can't be JD Vance who sits there.
JD Vance doesn't know how to order donuts. Elon Musk can't talk to anything that's non-AI. Tim Cotton can't smile. Ted Cruz, when he tries to smile, it's even worse. Josh Hawley runs away from everything. I think you get
Josh Hawley runs away from kissing his wife.
Right. Exactly.
I think there's something there too.
Anybody else that has what Trump has, but it doesn't mean the whole edifice of MAGA, the whole corrupt, despicable edifice needs to be torn down. Because if it's not, as you're saying, we set a precedent for the future, and we just keep getting more people like this.
Yeah,
And
and
Nick,
we
you
need to.
mentioned you and Ellie Leonard, and you've been paying a lot of attention to the Epstein files. I think under the law that President Trump signed, it has to be turned over within 30 days. And I believe there's a clause that says even if they redact certain materials, the unredacted materials must still be turned over to the House Oversight Committee. It would be improper for the House Oversight Committee to then make that public. But
Yeah.
at least the House Oversight Committee should be able to track what it is the Trump administration is keeping from the public and blacking out. How do you see all of this playing out?
I see the Trump administration regime doing exactly what they always do, which is delay, delay, delay. The Roy Cohn
Yeah.
methodology of life is he is going to find a way to try and say national security or some bullshit that they can't release any
Probably release it
information
on
about, say,
Christmas.
Republicans. Yeah, they'll find a way to do it on a Friday evening at like 11:30 at night, hoping
What day of
nobody's
the week is
awake.
Christmas this year?
I think it's
Like-
a Monday, actually.
Because I say that, I mean, for them, if it was a Friday and it was Christmas, they'd release it that day. I mean,
Oh, absolutely. Or like New Year's or something like that. But the thing is, I think if we as people put pressure on our politicians, because they have to be afraid of us as voters, not as people who are going to hurt them, because we don't advocate for violence. I never advocate for violence. Peaceful, patriotic, all the way.
Absolutely.
We need to make sure that our politicians are afraid that they're going to lose their job next cycle. Like every single one of them, every House of Representatives member, every member of the House is up for re-election next year. Every single one of them can get voted out and replaced. And you should be running for anything and everything you can. And like, I know I'm not running for something because I'm moving out of my current district in Arkansas and into a new one. And I thought it would be weird if I tried to run for a congressional district in my state or an office in my state and then move to a different part of the district that I wouldn't actively represent or have known.
See, that's different than me. I'm not running because I'm kind of a dick, and I think I'm better at this than I would be at running. So I think I'd say things.
I think I'm more effective here.
I might not win over swing voters. I think
no,
would be a problem.
Well, here's the thing: it's like, who the fuck is a swing voter?
I know.
We have like 40% of the voting population that doesn't vote, and those are the folks I care about.
You're right.
Like,
you want to turn people out. I was kidding. Like I think at this
no.
it's probably to your advantage to turn out your most hardcore supporters. And again, as I say all the time, and as we say here at the channel, I'm an asshole for freedom, which means I'm not an asshole to everybody. I'm not an asshole to most people. To people that try to destroy my country, I'm an asshole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, but I think it's important that being a dick is okay. Like, I'm part of the fuck you left. I don't care about right-wing feelings. I don't care if I hurt your feelings because you're a bigot and an asshole, and your feelings should be hurt. And the only thing that a lot of these folks respond to is authoritative figures. So, and America likes to listen to and will always go with strong and wrong over right and weak.
That's what, George W. Bush said that, and he was right about that.
And we are strong and right, and that's better. Like, we can be both. We can be an asshole for freedom. We can be a dick for freedom. I want women out there I want men to have the vaginal fortitude that most of these women out there are having to go out and show up and frickin' just scream in somebody's face like that lady did in, I think it was Brooklyn, that black woman who came out and just told ICE off.
That is
the energy we need. Like,
our friend Alex Lawson did that, who David and I think met through Alex, who's the head of Social Security Works and based in DC, and probably one of the best organizers on our side over the last 2 decades. I mean, I could go through it for a while. We've had him on the show before, and Alex on his block there, the ICE showed up, and I mean, he didn't hesitate for a second in that video. He went right up to them, screaming how, that they were Nazis. They should be ashamed of themselves. What do your kids think of you? This kind of stuff. And I mean, they could have thrown Alex up against a car, arrested him, done whatever. He didn't, and he's got kids, but he did what we should all do, what we need to do when we're trying to protect what our country is.
Oh, and there's
Yeah.
that woman. I think Nick, you maybe have also been referring to the woman. I think at the courthouse in New York, the Jamaican woman
Jamaican woman,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
said to the ICE officer something like, your wife is fucking on you, your kids hate you. Like I was like,
Mhm.
and she was
That
using
was
also. I remember
outstanding.
because we did a video and I had to like bleep out all this different stuff, whereas Alex was able to do it clean. But yeah, that kind of passion, that being willing to say, hey, I'm going to stand up to you, motherfuckers, and I'm going to give you a taste of your own medicine, and I'm going to use my First Amendment rights to scream and yell at you. Yeah, we should all be doing that.
Right.
And we should be authoritative when we do it. It's not so much, it's not even just about being strong. Like I put out a lot of stuff that's pretty vocally aggressive at times. But I try and be right when I do it. Like I try and have ideas that are like centered and good and correct, and I don't degrade women when I talk about like men's issues, like Fred Pogue, Lawrence Winterman, Walter Ryan, Shane Urich, like a group of us guys. We talk about things all the time. We talk like very openly and very proudly of who we are. We talk forward. We make jokes with each other. It's like, quote, locker room talk, but without the degradation. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going out there talking negatively about women's body parts. When I refer to men out there and different things that are going on, and I think this is how we gain authority over them and throw it back in their faces, is I refer to the weakness of men based on male body parts. Because statistically speaking, you kick a man in the balls and he's going to go down crying because it hurts like shit. You kick a woman in the same spot, she might not go down. Like she's got fortitude that we don't have, and these men
Hey
are
man, they
weak.
have babies. Yeah,
They push out babies.
I've been there
I
twice
can't
for
do
that.
that.
If for that were me, I'd be dead. So
Yeah, like I can't do that shit. Like
No.
men can't go through those period pretend simulation things. They get up to setting 1 and they fall over. Women do that every single month on the highest settings. Like it's
Well, you've got. I think
men.
you hit a key, more general thing we talk about here often. Whatever is that most what the whole sort of MAGA male sort of
It's broken.
shtick is that they're weak, they're insecure, they're scared that they've accomplished nothing. They're scared they will accomplish nothing. They're scared of any competition with women, with anybody who looks different than them, prays differently than them, loves differently than them. It's all out of deep fear and insecurity. Hence the whole
Mhm.
white replacement theory crap. Because they're like, oh my
Micro
God,
ego
we become a
syndrome.
minority. Okay, so you're no longer in the majority. Do you have to be in the majority? Well, they feel like they do because they're
Yeah.
scared that they can't compete if they're not
Yeah.
controlling things.
Yeah, it's why Pete Hegseth fired all of the competent women and people of color in the Navy or any senior leadership position in the military. After that happened, we had fighter jets fall off of aircraft carriers. Like Pete Hegseth, your DEI sucks. Your drunk enabling idiocracy sucks. Like that's what you're doing. You're just
That's who he
stupid and
does
you're
it
dumbing
for.
us
He
down.
he recruits people that know the best brands of vodka and
Mhm.
whiskey to bring into the Department of War.
Oh, the Department of Dumbassery or the Department of Wannabes is what I sometimes refer to them as because they want to be cool. They want to pretend that they're soldiers or service members, but a SecDef doesn't do push-ups with his service members or her service members. A SecDef does strategic planning with lead minds so that the American people stay safe.
and
They
maybe
don't
not on
pretend.
Signal. If
Yeah, and they don't
can
have
handle that,
Christo-fascist
that's probably
Nazi
best.
tattoos. Like, yeah, and we don't leak signal chats with us talking about Nazi shit and how we have like being not pro-Nazi youth and all that shit. And
Of
then
course, once
claim
you
that
saw
youth-
those guys, okay, I'll stop.
Jesus, these people suck.
They were definitely
they
not the
just
master
suck.
race, that group of guys. I have to say that. I mean, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, like I'm Jewish. These people suck. And I'm not for what's going on in Israel. Like I have very strong opinions there. And I think it's okay that we say them. And we need to stand by others when we do it. Like I'm taking my cues from the most powerful organizers and voices of history, which tend to be Black women or people of color who stood up to the oppressive white man and then had people rally around and next to them and elevate their voices. And that's what I want to do. I just want to elevate others' voices. And if mine gets joined in and lumped in as a good voice to listen to, I'm glad that it does. But I want to elevate other voices and get powerful people out there. Like I've said it at the beginning, is the reason I'm out here and this large so far is because I met Melissa Corrigan. And then I met Dana Dubois and Lawrence Winterman through her. And that jump started basically this entire community that I know.
The people you just mentioned, that's what I call a conference call.
Yeah. And that's what it is now. Like we're growing community and we're doing the thing that we've always wanted, which was to have friendships and have people we can rely on and people we can talk to and people who are people and normal. Like I don't talk like a politician, but maybe I've got some good ideas.
Oops.
And
maybe we answer this one. You can answer this how you'd like to answer it, Nick. I mean, I can think of ways I would, but go for it.
What does it mean to elevate other voices? Well, I do shows with Melissa Corrigan daily, almost daily. And then I cross-platform her stuff. I cross-post and share creators that I really like, and I advocate for creators that I haven't met. But elevating other voices means that I use my platform not just to specifically get more views or more subscribers or more anything for me, but for other people, because I don't have the same knowledge that Ellie Leonard has into the Epstein files. But I have a platform that has between my two platforms with almost 10,000 subscribers. I can add my nearly 10,000 subscribers to her 10,000 plus and elevate her voice and get it out to other people. I'm also, my big thing is, final part of this answer is I believe in a law called Conway's Law. It is that systems are developed based on their communication patterns, and how we communicate is how we organize. And so
the media is the message, is what you're saying.
The media is the message, but also the medium and the way we allow ourselves to transparently communicate with each other and openly do all of these conversations is how we elevate other voices. And is how we get more people into the discussion, and answering and listening to chat questions. That's elevating other voices.
Conversations with people. Listen to what they have to say back to you.
Put their music out there. Put their poetry or put their artwork out there. Encourage other people to go create or run for office.
Or their barbecue. Nick, I spent some time in Arkansas, in Little Rock. What part of Arkansas
that's
are you
right.
in right now?
You guys should be.
I'm in the Bentonville area, so I'm northwest. And I live in the home of Walmart.
Okay, and where are you moving to?
I'm moving not too far from the Bentonville area, still in a little bit closer to the border of Missouri and Oklahoma, but staying on the Arkansas side.
Well, one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to in my life, Eureka Springs, which is
been there quite a few times.
It's an artist colony, Cliff, in northwest Arkansas, and it's just phenomenal. And that is, I mean, I've always said to people, the most beautiful place I've ever lived is the state of Arkansas. And people like Arkansas, because it's actually, I mean, people think, oh, Arkansas is like the Mississippi Delta, flat as a pancake, rice farms, and actually it gets very hilly and beautiful, and pine trees in the central.
I like that you said hilly.
It's
not mountains.
Northwestern part of the state, it's gorgeous. It is gorgeous.
Oh yes.
I've only been through, which is I need to spend a little time there. I've been certainly down close to the area, but I have not. I've been to Tennessee and spent a bunch of time there in various places, but only was in Arkansas for like a few hours. So I will have to expand upon that.
And we're one of the places that, like, I met with the local Democratic Party in my county a couple months ago, or one of the reps from it. And one of my questions to her while I was sitting there was like, I know Ken Martin and the DNC have talked about a 50 plus state plan or a 57 state plan or whatever their initiative. I specifically asked her, I was like, so what does that mean for Arkansas? How is the funding? What type of investment are they doing? And she was like, well, none. So if you're the national party, stop forgetting about places like Arkansas.
Yeah,
stop forgetting about
Hallie
places
Schaffner
like Missouri.
Just so you know, that's what Hallie Schaffner said on our show, that she went off on the National Democrats for pulling out of states like Arkansas.
And
now
we won a district back on the state level last year. Election, this past election, when everywhere went redder, Arkansas won a state House seat back for the Democratic Party
Mhm.
and is one step closer to breaking the Republican
Right.
supermajority.
And I know that David has to go, but this reminds me because I wanted to make this a big part of what we talked about, and we hadn't really gotten to it, which is, and I'm going to mispronounce the name, but Afton Ben, who is running in this Tennessee district that we're supposed to have no shot at in a special election coming up. Trump won it by 22 points. Mark Green, the former, the guy that resigned to go, spend more time with his fascism, won it by 21 points, and he resigned, and it's an open seat. So that's what it should be, plus 21, plus 22. Yeah, the poll that they just did, and this is following another poll that showed it similar to this, shows us down 2 points. He's down 2 points to the Republican running in a 22-point Republican district. And again, I'm not saying Tennessee and Arkansas are exactly the same, but you've got two states that Democrats have kind of pulled out of, given up on. This is why we need to have a national strategy where we're in every state talking to people all the time. And this is why all of you, I wish we could talk about more, but look up Afton Ben, look up, I wish I should have her website and I don't have it here, but like she's got a real shot. We have a real shot at taking, and I can't tell you if we were to take this seat. Like you think that you think there's been like sort of an explosion in Washington among the political press with what happened, in our election this year, that we had the regular election. My God, if we were to win this district, like the obituaries of the Republican Party, donors would stop giving or give less. People will run less. People will start to retire, who are incumbents. It affects everything.
Nick, where can everybody find you?
I can be found in a couple places. So I can be found on Substack at sickofthis.substack.com, or Sick of This Shit Publications is my main home. I do political commentary, social commentary through poetry and live events. I also talk a lot about chronic illness and community building. And then everyone can also find me over at my other publication, which is Banner and Backbone Media. And we are building civic-based content, elevating powerful voices. We do talks on the intersections of technology and fascism. We have a new show called The Rant Act with Melissa Corrigan and Shane Yurick, and we're a community building center. That's what we're trying to do. And we work a lot with Centered America to boost ourselves there. And their platform and the message that they're trying to get out about moderate progressive values that most people care about. So
it reminds me of that old saying, early to bed, early to rise, work like hell and organize. And I would add a twist that when you're working like hell and organizing, Cliff, sometimes you get those bags under the eyes, right?
And work and organize. Sometimes you get bags under the eyes. It actually,
and then you got to put that particle stuff up there, and it takes it right out.
I would say, as we're ending here, David is pointing out
particle.
Right. As we're ending and we're pointing out, look at that. You've even got Lawrence Winterman has put a QR code up there for those of you who want to purchase Particle. They are supporting this show, which means they are supporting us in what we're doing right now, having these conversations. I've used it for a number of years. It will make your skin softer. It will get rid of the bags under your eyes, crow's feet. We said, get the crows back to the farm. All right. And it will do that for you. It's excellent. It is terrific stuff. We have Blue 30 is the code. It's our special code for you guys to get 30% off. It is stuff made particularly for men's skin, which is more rugged, more rough. But so the men out there, you can grab yourself some. Lawrence Winterman has been using it for a number of years. How can you not if Lawrence uses it? But for the women out there, you can get it for the men in your life, no matter who they may be, and support you and support us while you're doing it. So again, please check out Particle and
also check out Nick. Nick, it has been a pleasure. Longtime fan. Long time. You haven't been doing this for that long, but for several months, been watching, admiring your work and that of Ellie Leonard and all the stuff you guys are doing together. And so great to have you on Blue Amp. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me. It's been so much fun to meet the both of you. Everyone out there, go grab them by the emails and don't stop until we get to the end of this, because we can take this all down. America.
I'm getting more optimistic all the time. He's faltering, and it's time for us. It's our time. How about we just?
It is our time. It's our time to rise, restore integrity, service, and ethics into the American ethos. That's what we're doing.
Well,
so it's been great to have you guys.
Yeah,
or
well,
be with you guys for
for
this.
us
This
to,
has been so much
you
fun.
should have said it's been great to have been had.
It's been great to have been had. This is one of
No,
those only times I've ever been glad to have been had.
there you
So
go.
thank you guys.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Nick. Take care, man.
Thanks. You
We'll
too.
talk again soon. David, I think
Good show, Cliff. Well done.
you've got children to go pick up.
I'm gonna go do that.
And I have, I have to go spend some time with my kids and maybe put on some particle to make myself.
That's right.
No, I mean, I won't do it again, but great stuff, folks. Great to have you here, David, as always. Great to have Nick Parrow here, who's obviously doing a lot of terrific stuff. Guys, I'm not, this isn't going to shock you. We're not doing a show tomorrow. It is Thanksgiving. I think we're going to take that and spend time with our families and try to be appreciative of everything we've got. And in my case, eat way too much stuffing. Because it only comes around once a year and I need to do that. It's just that good. That's it. That's all we got. Is that it, David?
That's it. Gratitude all around. Thanks, Cliff. I appreciate it.
Take care, buddy. And to all of you, I'll just say, as the sun sets slowly in the west, I bid you a fond farewell.